Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker in the house.
Hi. Are we on? We are on. That's why you signaled to me. That's right. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Whoops.
I like Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's
Letting the theme song play. Hey, it's Tuesday night. It's time to watch Tuesday Night with Tony. This is us. I think it's over. This is us. You know, all that.
This is us.
This is us. That's right. All that sobby, you know, boo-hoo. You know, they adopted the kid. They're not adopting the kid. I'm fat. I'm pregnant. I'm not. Shut up. It's over. It's coming back in the fall or whenever it's coming back. This is more fun. This is the way. This is the place to be. And look who showed up. Look who showed up. Now let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This right here, all this right here. If you want to know what it's like to be cool, this is it.
There.
This what? Look over there. No, I'm looking right here. Right here. This is John LaSpina. Everybody say hi to John LaSpina. This guy.
Hello.
This guy has always been since I've known John my whole life, and he's always been cool. There's just no other way to put it. And if you went to high school, if you went to school with me and John, I think you'd all agree. In fact, and look, even now, us hair challenged men. I mean, look, he's got the best hair. In fact, even in high school, back in the '80s, that was good hair. That was good.
At some point in time, that was good. Not now.
I love that
Maybe
picture.
not. Maybe not then even.
I got rid of it for you. I didn't think you'd wanted that up there the whole time. So John LaSpina's here. Thanks for coming, pal.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you. Gives us a chance to hang a little bit. Let's see. Frank Walker's watching. Johnny Morelli's watching. No cursing. My daughter is watching. Isn't your daughter like 20 or something, John?
That answers my earlier question.
Oh, Albie Kenneth is watching.
Hey, Albie.
Stream a curse word in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes, Sally is watching. It's a Hicksville guy. Albie says hi to you. Let's see. I just want to go back a little bit. Brian Festa says hello, Brian. Good to see you. Anthony Shirelli says the Knick game is on. Who cares? Who cares? Hi, Brian. Good to see you. Let's see. Okay. Am I caught up now so far? All right. Yeah, who cares? Who cares about This Is Us? I mean, yes, I watched it. I watched it with Sally. Yeah. But I watched it on demand or DVR'd it. You could just come on here live and talk to us and hang out and have a good time, and then you can go cry with This Is Us some other time.
And skip the commercials.
And skip the commercials. Is that what you and Christine do? Did you snuggle up and watch it together?
Last week, yes, we did actually. We
Good
skipped
boy.
the commercials.
Nice. Good boy. Can I show John how you halt the broadcast? No, please don't, John. John likes to call, because, our high-tech studio, we stream this live from my, high-tech cell phone. So John Morelli likes to call my cell phone during the show so that it interrupts the live feed and we have to shut down and start all over again. Yeah, thanks. Anthony Shirley says, "What's up, guys? Get to talking about drums," says Eric Shevlin. All right, take it easy. Eric, what do you even know about drums? That's my business partner, Eric. He is Eric. Let me tell you, Eric. He's so fat and so negative. He'll tell you flat out, "I hate music," because it makes people happy. That's why he hates music. He's just a fat, miserable man. Robin Mirsky's joining. We were just talking about you,
Hey,
Robin. We were just talking about you. They have sticks and cymbals. Yes, they do, Eric. Very good. Very good. So John LaSpina's here. John LaSpina is a fantastic drummer.
Should have brought his drum set.
Yeah, imagine we brought... I hate bad music, Eric says. All right, whatever.
So do I.
There you go. But that's why John plays in a cool band, because they don't play bad music. They play fun music. Did you ever hear of this band? I don't know. Let's see. We're on a delay, so I don't know if I'm going too far out or in. But
Don't worry.
There you go. I see you.
nice. Rubik's Cube is the name of the band. You want to talk about a fun night, man? I've had the pleasure of seeing them twice. They dress up, in the old '80s garb, and the singers, they kind of dress up as the people, like the bands are singing. Like the girl, she dresses up in the Cher thing from, like, If I Can Turn Back Time, right? Is that the yeah?
Yeah.
You know, so they try to.
I get out of a lot of that. I don't really have time to change, so I
Sitting
maybe
behind
put a
the
hat
kid.
on. That's about it. Yeah.
Great band though, great band. Check them out. We'll get to that in a bit as far as upcoming gigs and stuff. John and I go way back. We go back. Where'd you go? Old Country Road School?
I went to Fork Lane.
Oh, Fork Lane.
I was a walker. A walker.
I was a walker too, and I still am. Well,
No busing here.
now I'm a hopper.
I wasn't born a walker.
You weren't born a walker?
I was born a crawler.
You were born a crawler. That's my son. Everybody, did you guys say hi to Zach? Zach, did you say hello?
Hello, guys.
There he is. Yep. And Sal Couture is watching. Thank you, Sal. That actually reminds me. I didn't do my usual announcements to start the show off. This Saturday, come join us at Knock 'em Dead Comedy. We're doing a show at Governor's this weekend. Governor's the biggest comedy club on Long Island. Any type of comedy show, that's the place to be. Knock 'em Dead Comedy. We're performing there Saturday night, doing a little audience participation murder mystery show with a holiday theme. It's a mob show with a holiday theme. And it is also Sal's last show with us. Sal is stupid because he's leaving us. Great singer, great performer, one of our main guys, been with us for, 14, 15 years, and one of my best friends, so it's going to be a rough night, but that's it. Come join us Saturday at Governor's. Let's see, whoops. And then Friday, is it Friday? Yeah, Friday. This guy here who does our theme song, that's David Clark back there. He's playing Friday out at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead. He's playing with the Lords of 52nd Street. The Lords of 52nd Street are the guys who played with Billy Joel back in Billy Joel's heyday. But they now play together, playing Billy's music with David Clark playing with them. They'll be at the Suffolk Theater on Friday. And then December 29th, David will be performing at Billy Joel's show at the Landmark Theater in Port Washington. That's what this ad is for. He's doing a Billy Joel back in 1982, I think it was. Billy Joel played the Nassau Coliseum, and then they released the show on videotape. So David is recreating that concert. David has been recreating some of Billy Joel's memorable concerts, and that's what he's doing that night. That'll be fun. I'll be there. Front row tickets that night. And then our other friend Mike Del Judas with Big Shot, he's playing Saturday night. So after you see Knock 'em Dead Comedy at the Governor's, shoot over to Mulcahy's where you'll see Mike Del Judas and Big Shot playing. So I think those are all the announcements. Let me go back and see what everybody is saying here. Paula Dossie Frierson, she went to Fork Lane too. Hello, Paula.
Hi, Paul.
Say hi to Craig. Morelli, I'm ignoring you. Eric with the little inside joke. Albie is saying hi to Zach.
Hello.
Scott Cresswell says, John out to the West Coast. Do you guys go out that far?
We go from Maine to Florida, everywhere in between. California, Arizona, Bermuda, Bahamas.
Bahamas? Oh.
No, we have.
Oh, I thought you were...
Bahamas,
okay.
Germany, we'll talk about that later. I think we're at, where are we at?
Did you say
Lake
Germany?
Tahoe. Lake Tahoe.
Wow.
Germany, yeah. We
Really?
played for the troops in. I'm going to say this wrong. Grafenhauer.
Sounds good to me.
Like that.
That place.
I'll go more into it later.
I'm stuck. My shoelace is caught on my chair here. I'm stuck.
Does that happen often?
What's that?
Does that happen often?
No. Rubik's Cube is the name of the band. Again, they play all sorts of 80s tunes. As you heard, they play all over the place. Wow, that's cool. You guys were in Germany. Now, if you've seen these guys, they're pretty big time. They've played with some pretty big names. They've played with Eric Martin from Mr. Big. If you remember, what was that song? Just to Be With You? Is that
Just
what
to
it was
Be
called?
With You is one of them.
Good, sing some of it for them. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's why I play drums. You don't want any of
Dennis DeYoung from Styx has played with you guys.
Yeah.
Who else I got on my list?
Rick Springfield.
Really?
Yeah, Brett Michaels.
Wow. Jeff Tate from Queensryche, the lead singer,
Jeff
right?
Tate was that was kind of a side project. I can talk about that.
Oh, okay.
That was one of those things where it was supposed to happen. It started to happen, then it didn't, as things do happen in the entertainment industry.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
one of those times. But I did eat sushi with him.
All right. Well, there you go. You know, you can't say that too often.
No.
I once got cursed at by Eddie Van Halen.
Really?
Yep.
Where so? Where at?
We were backstage. It's kind of a long, stupid story. You remember the band Our Lady Peace? They were an alternative band in the 90s. Yeah, they
vaguely
sucked.
remember the name.
They sucked. They were making an appearance at my buddy's CD store,
Okay.
and I could draw cartoons, so I made like a cartoon drawing of the band to promote my buddy's, you know, having the band appear at his shop. So the band, they loved this picture, and they were like, "Who made this? Who made this?" So they called me over, and they were taking pictures with me, and then they handed me passes to their show. They were opening for VH at Jones Beach. Love Van Halen, huge Van Halen fan. So I was
It's a
all
great place to see them.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great place to see anybody. So I was all excited. So we go backstage. I actually met Alex Van Halen for a few minutes. And I had seen the band already. This is 95. I had seen them already on that tour. It was the last tour they did with Sammy Hagar. And there's a part in the show where Sammy does an acoustic number. And I had seen it already, so I figured, all right, this is bathroom time. So I don't know if it's still the case, but at Jones Beach at the time, if you had backstage passes, they had seats on the stage. You would climb up stairs, and the seats would be, you know, up, and so you would look down on the stage.
Okay.
So that's where I was coming from. So I'm walking down the stairs to go to the bathroom, and like I said, it was Sammy's acoustic number. I come down to the stairs, and there's Eddie, and he's just standing there waiting, holding a guitar, waiting to go on. I'm looking around, and there's only one other person, some old fella sitting on a bench. And I'm like, holy shit, it's me and Eddie Van Halen, some old dude. I just couldn't believe it. And I was, you know, we were what, 25? So I didn't know what else to say. I was so starstruck.
Uh-huh.
And I now, because we're, you know, older and maybe more mature, but I would have handled it a lot differently now. But back then, again, 25, just a stupid kid. So I just looked at him, Eddie, can I have your autograph? He looks at me, and you can see he's looking around like, where the hell did this guy come from? And he goes, you got to get the fuck out of here, like that. So now I start laughing that Eddie Van Halen just cursed at me. Sure enough, security's coming from all over the place. I go running. They follow me, but for some reason they didn't kick my ass. I don't know why. And then I actually got back to watch the rest of the show. And then at the end of the show, they start jamming out on the encore. They start jamming to Mississippi Queen. Mm-hmm. The old man sitting on the bench was Leslie West, the guy who sings and wrote that song.
Really?
I didn't recognize him. He comes out and plays with them. So it was me, Eddie Van Halen, and Leslie West. And I got cursed at by Eddie Van Halen.
Well, it's more than I can say.
You told me that story.
I never told you that story? You even know who Eddie Van Halen is? Yeah. You do? You know who Van Halen? Love that flock of seagulls haircut. What are we? Oh, you're talking about John's photo from before? Is that what that is? Paula, you and Craig were there for the Van Halen thing too? Really? All right. Drones. Kevin has 11 Rubik's cubes. Yes, he does. That's Sally's boy, and then he also has the Rubik's cube costume. All right. So, who else? Oh, you played with Chicago, right?
Yes. That was
My brother, Frank
was
Walker,
great.
he loved Chicago. It was one of his favorite bands. How'd that happen?
I don't know.
All right, good then.
Our manager said, here's a gig, and by the way, you're opening for Chicago. And we said, sure, okay. So that happened, and we got to meet the band. So we played first, we opened up, and then we got to meet the band before they showed on, went on. And actually, it's a funny story, because I specifically wanted to go to their drummer. It's not their original drummer.
Tristan Bowden.
The original drummer was Danny
Seraphine, yeah. My brother just met him a week or two ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Great drummers.
Hey, so let me cut you off.
Sure.
Speaking of great drummers, the fellow we were just talking about before we went on, Liberty DeVito was watching.
Really?
That's what it says.
Liberty, hey!
We were just talking
I'm
about
sorry
you
I
before
missed
the
your show. I wanted to go to that show, and I mixed up the dates, and I'm a stunad.
Liberty, do you remember John? He does, right? Sure he does. Let's see if he responds yet. Did they play 25 or 6-4?
Absolutely.
Of course they did.
Absolutely. Towards the end.
So
they
I'm
did.
sorry. So yeah, I cut you off.
So Tris has had a very prolific career just as a session musician. He's played with tons of artists. He played with Kenny Loggins. All those hits, I think, was pretty much Tris.
Wow.
So I knew, obviously we were from Chicago, so I told our singers, I'm like, don't put Footloose on the set tonight. I don't need, him saying, well, you're doing this wrong and that wrong. Kind of like as a joke, right?
Right.
So I told Tris that, and he laughed. He's like, I have a funny story about that song. And I said, sure, what happened? So he says, Kenny got asked to do the soundtrack for that movie. And they were in the middle of a tour, so I think he wrote the song. They started rehearsing the song during the sound checks before the shows, and then either there was a lull in the tour, or the tour was ended, and then they went in, they cut the track, and Tris said, he's like, I remember walking out of the studio saying, "Thank God I don't have to listen to that horrible song ever again." And I just heard the song yesterday on the radio, so you can't escape the song. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But super cool guys. Super cool
Yeah,
guys.
really, yeah.
Great experience. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are Rubik's Cube. You guys are pretty. You guys are a pretty big band. You guys are like, again, you've been all over the place. You played with some. Oh, did you make a list here of some people you played
Yeah,
with?
it's more from my.
Oh,
me.
D. Snyder. Yeah, everybody plays. That's
Everybody
cool.
plays with D. Snyder.
If you're on Long
Brett
Island.
Michaels, yeah. Night Ranger was cool.
Night
I
Ranger.
got to play Sister Christian. I
That's
played drums, and the drummer singer came out and sang it. So
Nice.
that was the kind of thing where I don't screw the drum thing up at the end.
Right.
So, yeah. Everybody thinks that's like not in time, but it actually is.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. My brother actually bitches about that.
Yeah.
He'll
It's in
he'll
time.
say that.
It's
Is it?
in time.
Yeah. All right.
It's not out of time.
What's that guy's name? Kelly something?
Kelly,
Yeah, good enough.
I should know that. Kelly,
Should
I
you?
was talking with him.
Yeah,
I should. I'll remember when we're done.
Oh, and you play with Jeff Scott Soto?
Jeff Scott Soto, that was another guy.
Nobody, I guarantee. Maybe if Liberty's still watching, he may know who that is, but I guarantee nobody else that's
Yeah.
watching knows who that. I know.
Ingve
who that is.
Malmsteen.
That
Anyone
guy
knows
can
Ingve
sing,
Malmsteen?
man.
Woo!
That guy can sing.
I spent, I went through the whole Ingve thing in '87, '88, and up in my room woodshedding for hours and making my neighbors crazy. And Jeff's there singing in my ears, and then this time later, he's 20 feet in front of me singing. I think we did a few things, Ozzy, and we did Stand Up and Shout.
Oh, nice.
Whoever saw Rockstar,
Yeah.
that's Jeff singing for real behind. On
Oh,
the
for
soundtrack.
Wahlberg, yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
So that
Great
was cool.
singer. Wow. All right, so now I'll backtrack a little bit. Before you became this world traveling drummer, that's friends with Liberty DeVito. Tom Trank is watching. He knows who Jeff Scott
Hey,
Soto
Tom.
is.
Tom would know.
Tom would know. Well, all right.
He doesn't know who Gavin Harrison is. Probably only him and Liberty. Maybe a couple other people. Anyway,
Yeah,
it
that's
has
a name I
nothing to
don't know.
do with what you're going to talk about, I think.
All right, well, since Tom Tranka is watching, Tom made sure to ask me to ask you what a lopus is.
It's nothing, actually.
Oh, all right.
we
Glad
had
I
this-
asked.
We had this band, back when we were 14, and Tim DaCosta had all of this. Tim DaCosta lived in Hicksville, but he didn't go to Hicksville. He went to Lutheran or something like that. But he was a really great guitar player, and he had all this recording equipment. When you're 14 or 15, there's not a lot of kids that have really good.
There's a
reel-to-reel-
garage, and that's it.
Exactly. So they were trying to do this deep. We were trying to do this deep track, and it was something about a sea monster, I remember, and I named it the Lopus, and I don't know why, and those guys still call me Lopus for some reason. They're the only guys, nobody else.
Is that an actual word?
I don't think so. I think I may have been studying Latin or something at the time, and that I don't know.
But yeah, that's a typical 80s band and an 80s
Yeah.
topic. My friend Sal, who I talked about before, he had an 80s band. He's just maybe a year older than us. He grew up in Elmont, and he was a singer, and they had he had typical 80s bands there too. And I have it here somewhere. He gave a copy of it to me. They sang a song called "I Killed the Paperboy." Typical 80s shit, It cracks me up. Anthony Guerriere is watching, and Albie is saying hi to great. Oh, he says great guy Tim. Okay.
Tim, yeah.
I
All right.
didn't.
Yeah,
that's the
Albie would
name I
know
don't
Tim. As
Oh, yeah?
with Tom. Tom was, it was, me, Tom, Tim. I think it was just me, Tom, and Tim.
You, Tom, and Tim. Is
Tom
that
and
the name of the
Tim.
band? Me, Tom, Tim.
Say that 10 times fast.
10 times. Say Tim, Tom, Tim. I can't even do it. Anthony's saying, sorry, am I too early for the Class of 88 reunion? It's coming. It's coming. Get your money in now before George freaks out. All right. So that was actually where I was going. John and I are old friends. We've known each other since we were kids. We actually, if my memory serves me right, we actually met playing baseball because he was in a different school. I was in Dutch Lane. He was in Fork Lane. Mm-hmm. And I was telling him before, he apparently didn't know that his father was one of the more popular Little League coaches. We played HBA, Hicksville Baseball Association, HBA. And I'm sure you did too. I lived on they had a big, it's still there, big complex of just, I don't know, 6 or 8 fields, and we would just go.
And a hot dog stand.
And the shack.
The shack.
Yeah. Now it's all built up, but back when we were kids, it was just a little dumpy thing, but we loved it. It was, there was a sump there, right in the middle of it all.
That's right, I forgot the sump.
We used to hang out in the sump all the time. John Donovan fell to the ice once. We had to save his ass. Remember John Donovan?
Yeah, absolutely. He was funny as hell, man.
Yeah, I was close to him when we were kids. I don't know whatever happened to him. But, hey, Laney Mandel says hi to us.
Hey, Laney.
Hi, Laney. Speaking of old classmates. So HBA, I was telling John before we went on that, his dad was one of the more popular HBA coaches. Who's, anybody from HBA back, watching, who can verify this?
Joe Murphy here.
Yeah, where's Joe Murphy? Joe Murphy will back me up. Tim used to hang with Tony Puglisi, Joe Horvath, etc. I was in that mix, Joe Gonzalez, etc. Okay, Albie, thanks.
I saw some of those guys.
Yeah, they came to see you recently, right? Yeah, I felt bad. I was supposed to be there, and damn Sally got sick, couldn't go. Ran into Tony this year. Tom Tranka says I was. I don't know what he's saying I was to. But yeah, so we were, his father was a popular coach. Everybody always wanted to be on his dad's team, and John didn't. He had no idea.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was.
I thought it was because of me. They wanted to be on the team because of me.
Maybe some of the girls wanted to be on that team because you were on it. But that was our childhood. Just living on that field. There would be games all day, right? We would just hang out watching each other's games all day long.
Yeah.
Tom Tranka, right? Hey, Tom, can you back me up? I mean, I know you were like Tom was a year older than us.
Year older,
but I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you were a part of that. I don't know. If you were one of the kids. That
he may have been like a league ahead of us. Like when we were in the minors, he was in the
majors. Probably. Yeah,
I don't know. I can't remember.
All right, where's Joe Murphy? I need Joe Murphy to back me up to tell John how popular his father was as a coach. How was your dad? Good.
He's doing well. He's doing well. Yeah.
I remember him well back then. Good times playing at HBA. And you don't. You were saying before you won't even coach now, huh?
My hat's off to any dad or mom who coaches any of these kids teams because I see what goes on. It's tough.
Dealing with these
not
kids
so much
tough.
for some of the kids, but I think it's mostly more the parents.
Yeah, absolutely. The parents are a pain in the ass.
Tough.
Yeah.
So thank you, all those coaches out there.
Thank you, John's dad. What's his name? Your first?
John.
Father? Oh, it is John. Are you a junior?
I am a junior, but a little quick fact: he didn't know. I didn't know I was a junior until years later. All right, let me back up. His middle name is Salvatore. My middle name is Anthony.
So you're not a junior.
He thought his middle name was Salvatore. My dad went through a couple of foster homes when he was a kid.
Oh.
My grandfather was out in Germany in the war and everything, and big long story. He was bounced around. But anyway, He went to go get his passport when he went to Japan, and he got a hold of his birth certificate and realized his middle name is really Anthony. And he was celebrating his birthday on the wrong day.
Wow.
He was celebrating October 20th. It was actually October 5th.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's not a boring story. I kind of dug that. Wow.
So, hold on to your birth certificate.
There's a lesson learned for you right there. Well, all right, so we met through HBA. And then we never really hung much, but we share this love of music, which is, I think, why we've always kind of gotten along well.
He's a cool guy.
Well, I pay him money for that. So where did the drums come from? How did you? Because I have memories. I don't have a memory of you not playing drums.
I don't have a memory of me. I don't have a memory. I don't have a memory of me. Like, I can't say this was the day it happened. It was just, I kind of fell into it. I think part of it was, I always liked music, and music was always in the house. And my dad was a big, and still is a big music aficionado.
Oh, is that right?
He loves, I heard a lot of doo-wop, a lot of Motown.
Oh, nice.
And then, for some reason, I think what happened was, do you remember
No.
K-Tel? K-Tel.
Oh, K-Tel Records.
They used to, yeah. They put these compilation things together.
Yep, I remember
with all
that.
these the hits, and they'd invariably cut out. They cut half the guitar. They cut out half the guitar solo. It was invariably always the better part, or they'd cut out the verse, or they'd cut out, the cool part at the end, the more than the feeling. They just always did this all the time. It used to piss me off. But anyway, I think it was a video for Boston. I saw Sib. I'm probably not going to miss this. Sib Hashim.
Yeah. Who just died?
Dying, at least it was doing what he loved, on like a rock cruise.
Yeah, wasn't he on stage or something, on a cruise or something? Yeah.
Whose first name is John? I didn't know that.
Oh, Sib is a nickname?
John. Yes, it was a nickname.
Oh.
Anyway, I just wow, that looks cool, and I think maybe I could try and do that. And then it started out with Tinker Toys in a bed, and then,
We're still talking about drumming, though, right?
Yeah.
Taking toys into bed, you never know.
He's definitely drumming.
Lainey, too, says she remembers John always played his drums as far as I remember. Yep. Tom Tranka is not backing me up with the HBA stuff. He what did he say? He said he hated sports or hated baseball. Wow. Hates baseball. Wow.
Tom, I think, was doing martial arts for a while.
Oh, is that right?
I think so. Tom, back me up.
All right, I won't say anything
back
bad.
yourself up on
Kick
that.
my ass. Yeah. All right. So, all right. Yeah. So, all right. So so you don't necessarily have a memory of how it began. Okay. All right. But I'm still sticking to our childhood there. I'm talking about Hicksville.
Sure.
Greg Mace is watching. Greg, who lives in Hicksville, he didn't grow up there. He grew up down here in Wantor, where I live now. But now he lives in Hicksville, where we grew up. So we kind of switched. Greg Mace is he's gay with Eric Shevlin, in case anybody's wondering. Tom Tranka self-learned on that one. Self-learned what? With the martial arts?
With the martial arts, all right.
Goodness.
I knew he did some stuff there. Yeah.
Self-learned, though. That's intense.
That's a badass.
Yeah, that's a ninja, man.
Yeah.
Shogun.
Yeah.
So what the hell was... So sticking with our childhood, again, we grew up in Hicksville, class of 88. Hicksville was an interesting place to grow up in. So... give me any. So we talked about HBA growing up. Greg just called me a dick. Okay. But all right, but we talked about HBA playing ball back in the good old days. But any fun memories of school? We had a lot of interesting teachers. A lot of wackos.
We did. I can remember Mr. Clonin. Remember the Spanish teacher, Mr. Clonin?
No.
He was a Spanish teacher. And you could always tell when he was getting mad because his voice would go up like 4 octaves.
Oh, wow.
And you could hear him screaming down the hall, yelling for someone to get out.
Right.
I remember another teacher, I can't remember her name, math teacher, she used to wear wooden clogs.
Oh, yeah, I
You know
remember
what
that.
I'm talking about? I can't think of her
I
name.
can't remember her name either. But I do remember
See her
that.
face, I can't think of her name. Mr. Oh, he used to play Billy Joel all the time. He was an English teacher.
Scala?
No. Well, I remember Mr. Scala, but Mr.
Used to play Billy Joel all the time.
Oh, man, I can't remember the
Mr.
guy's
Horowitz used to play John Lennon all the time.
name. Mr. Horowitz is John Lennon?
Yeah.
I don't think I have Mr. Horowitz. I
Oh,
think
okay.
I
He
had
was
him.
cool. He was really cool. Laney had Mr. Clonin. Sally, what was the story you told me? Who was the teacher that collapsed in the middle of class or something? Who was the speaking of martial arts? Who was the karate guy? The science teacher?
I didn't know we had a...
Razak. Remember
Oh,
Mr. Razak?
yes.
He was a big martial arts.
The weather
martial
guy.
arts
Learned, it's the weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had him?
I had him. I didn't realize it was martial arts.
Yeah. He used to.
Yeah?
Yeah. The guy talked about everything. He talked about everything but science. And yeah, sometimes it was all
paying
about martial
attention.
arts. I wasn't either.
It's right in the book.
Mr. Razak, and I always remember his name because he talked about everything but science. And I remember it was about 2 weeks before the end of the year, so it was 2 weeks before the finals. So it was time to, I guess, learn
Talk about
science.
science.
So what he did was he gave us. So this was junior high. So this was, I don't know, early '80s. So he gave us a final from 1976, I think it was, and we just worked off that, right? And we would just go over the whole, as a class. We'd go question by question, and discuss the answers.
Bicentennial, 76.
Nice. But then it came time to take the final. It was the same exact test. It was the same exact test. I'll never forget it. We all sat down to take the test, and I'm telling you, the whole class, they must have just started like kind of glancing at the first couple of questions, and the whole class, everybody's just kind of doing one of these.
This is a trick.
No, but it was a smile like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this man just gave us the test. He gave us, so everybody just aced the damn thing. Everybody just went right through it because so Mr. Razak is all right in my book. Yes, Sally, the man who looked like Barney Rubble. I don't remember his name either, but you had a story about he collapsed. Something fell on him, and he fell, and he collapsed. Whatever the story was. Mr. Horowitz is a professor on the West Coast now. Yeah, for college. Yeah, he's great. I still keep touch with him on Facebook. Jackie McDonald says, "Hey, dolls." Oh, so
Hey,
now
Jackie.
now it's plural. Usually it's just for me, and I love when she says that. Allie Bayer's watching.
Hey, Allie.
Allie Bayer, one of my favorite people. I love Allie. Always smiling. She's great.
Yeah.
All right. So, are we done with Hicksville? Do you have any? Because you were a popular guy, man. You were John LaSpina in Hicksville. You still are, but you're.
I'm John Street of Belmore, but yeah.
Yeah, you were a popular dude.
Well, I
man.
remember things like the Oktoberfest. I don't know who remembers going to October. We were talking about that before.
At Holy Trinity.
Maybe it was more my thing because I lived down the block from Holy Trinity and hopping the fence and that whole thing.
Hanging out in the schoolyard.
The 50-yard line parties. Actually, I have a story about the 50-yard line party. We have one of these 50-yard line parties on the football field, which is basically you're drinking beer in the bleachers at night on the football field.
Yeah.
It's not even has to do with the 50-yard line. And, whatever, the police came and everybody scattered. And then people came back and Paul, I'm just going to say Paul. This guy Paul came back and there was this guy on a bike, but nobody seemed to recognize the guy. But we just assumed that, I don't know, he was one of the students. And Paul goes, hey, you better get out of here, man, because there's, police all over the place. And he goes, yeah, and I'm one of them. And he grabs Paul. He was an undercover police.
Wow.
Guy, yeah. So we were all sitting on the bleachers and, we're thinking we're going to get arrested and all that stuff. And stupid kid stuff like that.
But you don't want to mention his name, so you don't want to mention Moriarty's name? Was it him? I just.
You did.
All right,
Together, we formed the full name.
I just saw Paul. Oh yeah, see, Albie's calling it too. Does John still live on Long Island? Yes, Jackie, he does. You don't, Jackie. You got to get back here. Tom Trankus is Holy Trinity. Sally, let's see. Did Sally finally answer my question? The movie screen fell and knocked him out while he was lecturing, and no one moved out of their seats.
Ow!
Because we were dumbasses. The poor man had to wake up out of being knocked out and call for help himself. That's great. That's great. The whole class just sits there while the man's dying.
I don't know what to say to that.
I remember, speaking of that, I remember there was a gym teacher. I don't remember her name. I remember I was sitting in computer class, doing everything but work. I was looking out the window, and there was a gym class out there playing softball. And a kid threw the ball. The kid he was throwing it to missed it. The gym teacher wasn't looking. She was looking somewhere else. Thing clocked right in the head.
Oh.
And she went down. She collapsed. And a bunch of kids were running into the school, and the teacher was out for like a year. I don't remember her name.
Ow.
Miss my Long Islanders. Yes, I know. Paul was a big VH fan. That's right, Albie.
Oh, yeah. Big
Albie,
time.
Albie with the good memory.
Big time. Yep.
Yeah, I just bumped into Paul back in June, I think it was.
Yeah?
Hadn't seen him
where
in
is he
years. Out east. We were doing a party out in Patchogue. What the hell was the name of the place? He's the
Maitre
manager.
D'?
The manager, Maitre D, manager. He actually
Was it
recognized
H2O?
me.
I ran into an H2O years ago. I walked in. He was like the
Where's
maitre
that?
d' at H2O.
I don't know where that
it's
is.
It's somewhere out east. It's like a seafood, sushi kind of place. And I walk in and he's standing right there and he's the maitre d'.
Yeah, that was the same thing. I walked in, and it was him, and I didn't even recognize him. I just said, "Hey, I got to bring my stuff in for the party," and he goes, "Well, are you Tony Walker?" I was like, and then all of a sudden, then it hit me. I was like, "Holy shit, it's Paul!"
Yeah.
Hadn't seen him. I think, probably at least 20 years. No, it wasn't It's a catering hall, like weddings and stuff like that.
Okay.
Right on the water, though. Nice place.
Land's End?
That might be it.
Might be it.
That might be it. Could be. Miss James. Yes, it was Miss James who got hit with the softball. Very good. Thank you for that. Hey, guys. Me and John aren't friends on here, so tell him I said hello. Tara Kennedy.
Hey, Tara.
Why aren't you friends with Tara Kennedy?
I don't know.
What's going on?
A friend requests you right after. Or a friend requests me, and we'll be friends.
Tara's awesome.
Yeah.
Always loved Tara. Tom
She went to Fork Lane.
She
Tara
did?
went to
Wow,
Fork
so what's the
Lane.
matter? Well, what's up with that? Wow,
I don't know.
little drama. Little drama?
I don't know.
You and
Sorry,
Tara?
No, not at all. As far as I know.
Tom Tranker says the throw to Miss James was deliberate. Well, I didn't know the one. Was she a dick? I don't know. All right, so there's our Hicksville stories. All right, so I'm going. Let's see. All right, so tell me more about Rubik's Cube. How do you guys end up getting jobs in Germany, or how do you guys get gigs with Chicago and Dennis DeYoung? How does this happen? Good management?
Good management.
How did you guys get
they
to such
just
a level?
tell
Word of
me to
mouth?
Show up, and I show up. As we all did. No, it was like any other band. I mean, it was a lot of hard work and some luck. I mean, we started out probably like any other band and playing little places, and we'd do these places in the Bronx where we thought we might get beaten up. We weren't sure, and then the show would be over, and they're like, "What are you doing? Just keep playing." And it was a whole different vibe there. Nothing against the Bronx at all. And then I guess our break was there was a prominent club in Manhattan that's not there anymore. That we opened up for a Journey tribute band, and then I don't know, the vibe was just there, and we just knew it, and the owner of the club knew it. And we just built it up, and we got it to a point where we had a residency at this place for probably 3 years, just selling out every Saturday. And then from there, it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And that was it. And some of it's word of mouth, and good management and agencies, and then
key.
having to deliver. I mean, you can have the best management in the world if you can't deliver. You're not going to get hired. That's just kind of how it is. So you're as good as your last show, so to speak. But Germany was interesting. As we played for the troops. It was strange. I think the night before we did one of those Music Under the Stars that we have it was Oyster Bay, and I think we played in Farmingdale. And the next day we had to head out to Germany.
Yeah.
We hopped on one of those Airbuses, those double-decker deals.
Wow.
And then flew into like Frankfurt, and then took a tour bus for like 4 hours, and we were all like fried by then. And you're jet lagged, and you don't know which way's up anymore. And got to the place, and I couldn't sleep. I slept for a little bit, and then I went out and started talking with the bus driver for a while because we were on the Autobahn. I'm like, I want to watch us on the Autobahn.
Right.
Watching the BMWs and everything zipping by us and all of that. And then, it was great. We played, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 shows there. But it was just cool. It's a U.S. installation, but it's a multinational training facility. It's U.S. based. I think it might be the biggest one they have in the world. I'm not sure.
Wow.
So it was cool because there were tanks and choppers, and we're taking all these pictures, and we were hanging out. We had one of the army men. He kind of became our sort of tour guide, and so we got to go into Nuremberg and Hamburg and some other places. So it was a great experience. To bring a little piece of home back to to those guys.
So, a little thank you.
Yeah.
You like Bob Hope?
Bob Hope. Yeah.
Hello, Kim Guerriero. What? I'm just going to go back. Tara Kennedy said I read her thing wrong. Hey guys, me and John aren't friends on here, so tell him I'll friend him. Isn't that?
That's Tara?
Tara Kennedy.
Okay.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, didn't we do that?
Yeah, but
okay.
but then she's saying I read it wrong, so
Oh.
I don't know what the. All right. Okay. All right. So now let me see. So Lainey wants to know when is the next local gig.
Define local. Where are you at, Laney?
No, Laney, you're in Belmore. Laney, are you still in Belmore? Laney was in Belmore.
But you're in Belmore? Oh,
Yeah, I'm almost positive I know she was. I don't know if she still is.
okay. We're at 89 North this Friday in
Oh, yeah?
Patchogue. It's still like 40 minutes away, but it's not too
Not
bad.
bad.
It's better than Maryland or Florida
Or Germany.
Or Germany, yeah.
And it's a cool place. I like that place.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
And then, all right, Allie wants to know when you're coming to Florida. Laney is still in Belmore. John is in Belmore, too.
Yeah. I don't know, Allie. Hopefully soon. I like Florida. Last time we were in Florida was Port St. Lucie. That's when we did the Rick Springfield
Okay.
thing. That's another interesting Spinal Tapish story that happened there. So we had done a private with Rick, and when we play with these artists, these guys have played these hits like 1,000 times. Right?
Oh,
Rick
sure.
is like, I think he's like 66 or something, and
Wow.
he's still going strong, right? So we did a private with him, a private show that is, corporate thing.
I wasn't even thinking that.
Yet. So they want to see, so we're basically backing him. We're his band. He's going to sing. So he wants to make sure we can actually do these songs and play them.
Sure.
So it's like, all right, play, so it was like verse and chorus, like, 6 of the hits. And he'd stop us.
Did
He's
he
like, all
have
right, I
that
heard
many?
enough. What's that?
He had that many? 6?
Or 5 or whatever.
I'm joking.
It is. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we just played the same song. No, we didn't. No, they were actually, there was a lot of songs I forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this song. This is a cool song.
Oh, yeah?
So anyway, when we did another show with him maybe a month or two later at Port St. Lucie. It was like this Rick Springfield Club Med getaway thing. So, these fly dates, we don't ship our gear down, right? So we take
Right.
the little, it's just not cost effective to ship
Yeah,
a
of
whole
course,
drum
right.
kit down and
Right.
things like that. So it's guitars and sticks and things like that. And then I have a tech writer. It says, all right, John needs these drums and these sizes and these cymbals, et cetera. And then you kind of hope they actually show up, or what does show up is what you asked for.
Yep.
I'd say 9 times out of 10 it is. This time it wasn't, though.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So you fly down a day before. We had great. We're at Club Med and it's great and it's sun and we show up in a limo and all this stuff. And
Nice.
then,
Living large.
and then the next day, our road manager sends us everyone a text in the morning and says, Houston, we have a problem. And it's like, yeah, what is it? None of the gear's here. All right, well, when's it going to be here? Well, it got delivered. Well, what do you mean it got delivered? Well, it got delivered, but in Miami.
Oh, wow.
So now it's like, well, I don't think this is going to get to Port St. Lucie in time because the show's
Right.
like today. So Rick's band was great enough. They just let us use all their gear. I used the drummer.
Oh, wow.
Jorge Pasha's great drummer, great guy, super cool. They were all super cool, and we ended up using their gear.
And I love the band. I've seen you guys a couple of times. I love it. But if Rick's band was there, why did they need you guys?
Well, no. I need to clarify. We were basically opening up for his
Oh.
band.
Okay.
So we were an opening band with no gear.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
We last year, Sally and I went to England, where
nice.
my friend. I have a friend there. His name is Elio Pace. He's a musician.
Oh yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, he was on here a couple weeks ago. He was in America visiting. So but we went to see him last year, and he was doing a charity gig with Huey Lewis, and Tico Torres was there.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it was the same thing. They the equipment. They just told him what they weren't. Him and the band weren't traveling with anything. It was just have this there. But to get us into the gig, we basically had to work. We were kind of like Elio's managers for the day because we couldn't just. It wasn't open to the public or anything like that. So so all the equipment is delivered. Of course, there's issues, just like you said. And the sax that they had, something was broken. In the sax, so this couldn't play. So now it's time for us to justify our existence, even though we're kind of faking it. But Sally, who had taken sax in, I think, like elementary school, she happened to remember, oh, do you need this kind of sax? And the sax player, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And she was able to, we're in freaking Scotland, and she's making calls, and she actually tracked it down, yeah. Did you ever play with Huey Lewis? He's an 80s guy.
No, I haven't played with Huey.
He's cool. He was really cool that day.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It was-
He seems like he'd be a cool guy.
we were talking baseball the whole time. Laney wants to know if you're in South or North Belmore.
I am in, I guess, North Belmore. I'm like maybe half mile north of Sunrise Highway.
And Jackie McDonald, Jackie, yes, this is just it's just water. And then Jackie asked if you're a rock star. But I mean he always has been since we were kids. But is this your full? Is it a full time gig?
No,
It's
I have
not.
a completely different life. I have a dual life,
Prostitute.
dual existence. Yeah,
A dual
no,
existence?
not anymore. Yeah, now I'm a software engineer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I had no idea.
Very glamorous.
So so between the two, then you're never home.
I am, but it's just kind of part of the deal. The kids
is
get
part of
it.
the
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Like the Germany thing was tough, being away for a week. From the the wife and the kids.
Yeah, but you can't turn something like that down. You know?
No.
Yeah, that's wild. Laney, apparently you and Laney Mandel are neighbors. That's what she
Really?
says. That's what she says. Pays the bills. Yes, Tom, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Is Tom still? Is Tom, you still playing music too?
Oh hell yeah.
Is he? Yeah.
Oh, you got to hear them.
Really? What are they called?
Meridian Incident.
I've never.
See, I'm plugging you on my
Yeah,
own
well, come on,
interview here.
come on, Tom, come be on the show.
It's like, Tom, this is my opinion, it's just like a mix of like Tool and King Crimson.
Oh, wow.
And maybe a little Porcupine Tree in there. But it's original. It's got a really cool vibe. Really cool vibe.
All right, I have to check that out. I'd love to check that out. I live. So Laney says she lives right near the village of Belmore, north of Sunrise. So we're giving out our addresses here. Richie
Yeah.
Halstead says the LIRR sucks.
Yes. As it does.
And Tom is thanking you for the plug. All right. Did we? I mentioned Liberty was watching. Did we tell you a Liberty story? I don't think we did, right?
No, I didn't say.
Let's tell you a Liberty story.
Liberty story.
Liberty
so-
is Liberty DeVito. For those of you who don't know, played with Billy Joel for 30 years. Pretty much, just about every Billy Joel hit was Liberty on drums. Fantastic drummer. I'm fortunate to say that he's a friend of mine. Super nice guy. Super funny guy. Who? Excuse me, I'm burping. I swear this is water. But John is not drinking water. John, and wow, all right. He.
Cutting myself off.
Wow.
I was just shocked. I didn't realize he had half a bottle of wine. So John has his own Liberty story.
Yeah. So I just want to back up a little bit before
Back up.
we do that because my formative years, the drummers I was listening to was Ringo, of course, I think,
Sure.
Buddy Rich, Carmine Apiece, and,
Oh, nice.
and Liberty. And I got turned on to the Billy Joel stuff and Liberty through my godmother, and she worked at Columbia Records at the time.
Oh, nice.
So by the time I was 8, 9, I was listening to, Aerosmith and Pink Floyd and Boston and Billy Joel. And especially those early Billy Joel records, and I think some of this was due to the record companies kind of allowed this to happen, it was like you didn't have to stick so much to a formula. Because if you listen to those early Billy Joel songs, it was like it would go from Latin to
Country.
this fast bebop thing, and then rock, and as a kid and being naive, I'm thinking like, well, I guess he must have hired like different drummers.
Sure.
This isn't the same guy. This
Right.
isn't. And you start looking at the liner notes. When there were liner notes with albums, and it was like, no, this is the same guy. So I immediately just started digging into Liberty stuff and trying to rip apart what was he doing. He had the headphones on because this is pre-YouTube.
Right.
So I couldn't watch anything. It was me with headphones on saying, oh, he's doing the ride here, and then this is the hi-hat thing, and all that stuff. So he was a huge influence for me. So fast forward, I got this Rubik's Cube things going, and things are going swimmingly well. And I kind of got thrown a curveball. I got a Z that starts with C.
A goal.
Rhymes with dancer. Got through that whole, muddle thing. But in the meantime, I required some surgery, and prevented me from sort of picking anything up, or for a while, as most surgeries do. And in the middle of this, my wife is about probably 7 months pregnant by this time, so we're kind of walking around like old, kind of like, remember Carol Burnett, like
The old man,
Tim
yeah.
Conway thing,
Yep.
like that's what I
Mrs. Who
kind of and I had that thing that picked stuff up
Oh,
with
yeah.
the grabber, and so it's like, I think we got to hire a housekeeper here for a little bit. And, we were able to, my in-laws actually recommended one. Susan McMills, actually. Hi, Susan. Suzanne. Sorry. So she was at the house one day, and she saw this Modern Drummer magazine. She's like, oh, do you play drums? And yeah, and I mentioned to her the band and everything. And she asked, did you ever hear of Liberty DeVito? I'm like, yeah. And she said, "Oh, well, I'm friends with him. I know him." And I'm like, "Can you have him sign this drum skin?" And she said, "Yeah, sure. He's great like that." And then I'd say, she came back the next week with the skin, and the skin wasn't signed. So I'm like, well, "What's up with that?"
Get out, Susan.
Yeah,
Suzanne.
So she handed me an email. She's like, "This is from Liberty," and said something to the effect of, "Listen, why don't I just come there and I'll sign the drum skin there?" So my mouth kind of dropped, and
Did he clean your house?
no.
He was kicked out of Billy's band.
So
I thought maybe you needed the money, Liberty.
No. So weeks later, he came by, and here I am years later eating sandwiches with Liberty in my dining room, and asking him geeky drum questions. How did you tune the drum for this song, and all that stuff? And it was just great. He was great, and he did sign the drum skin. I still have it. It's up on my wall. So thank you, Liberty.
Should have brought it.
I should have.
It's on his wall.
I should have. Yeah.
Should have taken the wall here.
Should have taken the wall.
Yeah. Another brick in the wall.
Nice. A lot of people think my son is high when we do these shows. All right, I'm gonna. Whoa.
My father is the drug dealer, isn't it?
Yeah. Jackie McDonald says, by the way, the drummer is the sexiest. Just saying.
Thank you.
I thought it was the
That's
comedy
what I
guys.
keep telling everybody.
Suzanne Roman is watching. Do you remember Suzanne? She was a year ahead of us. Suzanne Roman? Sue Roman?
Why is it so wrong? Would you have a brother? I think a brother.
I think she does.
Was she in marching band?
Probably. She's
you
a
hit-
big musical.
You hit cymbals.
And John Fable is watching.
Hey, what's up, John?
And Jason Hinckley is watching.
Hey, Jason.
Jason. Yeah, that's cool. Liberty's, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy. A friend of mine who I have a lot of laughs with. All right. It is actually coming up on an hour.
Is it?
Yeah, believe it. It flies, man. Right
Wow.
there. 9:55.
Look at that.
Right, I told you, it flies.
Yeah.
All right, so quickly, give us, so you said, Suzanne's brother is Tom, and she played the sax.
Yes. Hi. I remember now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, that's actually, I'm going to use that as a segue for next week's show. Next week, it's going to be our holiday show. This right here, I don't know how well you can see this, but this little geek playing the piano in his pajamas, that's Sue Roman's son. That is Paulie Fascino. Paulie and his brother, I forgot his name. Tommy? Bobby, Vinny, Steve, Joanne, I don't know. They have a band. They have a band called Route 111. They're fantastic. They're a great band. It's 4 guys, and I think they're all under 16 or something like that. Wow. And they're a great band. Next week, we're actually, I didn't even tell Zach yet, but next week we're doing our show from their house. You see this piano right here? John, you'll find this interesting. This piano you must know who Doug Stegmeyer was?
Absolutely, yeah.
This is his piano.
Really?
It's his piano. Doug Stegmeyer, talking about Liberty DeVito, Doug Stegmeyer used to play bass in Billy Joel's band back when, Billy was in the height of his fame. Doug passed away like 20 years ago. His family, I think they moved out of state or something. I forget where they moved to, but they were getting rid of a lot of stuff. Sue and her family, they got the piano. So it's in their house. Paulie is a great piano player, a great singer. They do some originals. They do great covers. But we're going to do the show from their house next week where they're going to play some holiday tunes for us, and we're going to hang out and have some laughs. And they're even going to bring in an audience. So we'll be live in front of a studio audience for the first time. Nice. So that'll be fun. That'll be next week.
That budget.
And yeah, you can see Paul is very excited. The look on his face there. I don't know if you can see that. But,
I don't want these old geeks coming to my house.
No, Paulie's a good kid. I know Paulie. And Sue's great. She's hopefully, hopefully she'll get on camera with us and joke around with us because she's hysterically funny. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Richie Hall said, in your neighborhood, Laney, Twin Lakes, Wantor. Oh, Richie, that's where you're living now? So wow, he's really close to me. Oh, all right, I said Tommy. I got the name right. Didn't I say Tommy? Thomas? Does he prefer Thomas? Whatever. Okay, so all right, so I'll put out some snacks. Woohoo for Zach. Gummies and no camera for you. Sue, you get in front of the camera. You're at least going to say hello.
If you're going to put out snacks, can you be sure to include marijuana?
That's my boy. All right. So Rubik's Cube is the name of the band. They play all sorts of 80s hits. They're a lot of fun. They dress up in 80s outfits. Great band. How many people are in the band? You have like 3 lead singers, right?
6. We have 2 lead singers, yeah. 6 people.
Oh, there's only 6 people total in the band? It's only 2 lead singers?
I thought you were saying 6 lead singers at first. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I did. I got confused.
6 lead singers and a drummer.
Because that's all that counts. And is this all you're playing with? The only band you're playing with now? Because you were in a Heart tribute band for a while.
Yeah.
Is it just this now?
It's just that. I mean, I'm looking to do some other stuff. I'd love to sit in with. I'd actually love to sit in with Songs in the Attic one day if Gary feels like taking a day off.
Oh, you're friends with Gary? Gary's.
Well, I met him.
man.
They played.
Gary's
I think they
cool.
played a benefit before, or something like that. Actually, it was 89 North. They were playing some sort of benefit before we did, and I got to chat with him just for a little.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a monster drummer.
He's great. He's great. Another super nice guy too. Yeah, all right. I'll see. I'll put in a good word with David Clark and Gary and get you up there for a song, or maybe they'll just hand you a tambourine. Would you do that?
Triangle.
You would do that?
I could do the triangle like was it the Geico commercial? The guy with the triangle.
Yeah. All right. So what was it? Friday you're playing 89 North?
This Friday, the 15th, 89 North. Yeah.
Rubik's Cube at 89 North out in Patchogue, right there on Ocean Avenue. Come see Rubik's Cube. They are phenomenal. Quickly, what other drummers? Who'd you mention before? Buddy Rich, Ringo?
Buddy Rich, Will Calhoun, a bunch of other drummers that people may or
Portnoy?
not.
Mike Portnoy?
Not so much.
No.
I mean, he's tremendous, but he wasn't like a guy that was really like ripping apart, analyzing.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. A lot of people think Neil Peart. But I actually have a story about that. I don't know if we have the time for it.
Go ahead.
So I heard Rush. I mean, nobody sounded like Rush. Nobody will sound like Rush. Rush is Rush, and that's it. And Neil's phenomenal, and he influenced a generation of drummers. But when I was coming up, my formative years, I was like, I want to do my own thing. And all my friends were listening to Neil. So I'm like, I'm going to try and go the other way and listen to other people. Nothing against Neil. The guy's insane, like I said.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like I was turning Rush off. It was more that I didn't own a Rush record. I'm like, I'm not going to rip that stuff apart and buy the records and figure everything out. Because all my friends are doing that.
Right.
Maybe I'll do that later.
So you went to Mickey Dolenz.
I went to Mickey Dolenz, right. So, and John Stamos. So, and this ties into the other thing. I worked at Kenny Shoes back when Broadway Mall was a Mid-Island Plaza. Anybody? Some of you guys got to remember that.
Of course.
The hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, I love
the dirty-gurdy.
I love that grease pit.
I can't believe it was still alive for me, that food.
Absolutely.
We are. So anyway, Joel and I worked at Kenny Shoes in the back in the stockroom. We had a radio and we'd bring in tapes. And I'm like a huge Iron Maiden fan, so I'd bring in Iron Maiden and Dio and Queensryche, and he'd bring in Rush and Queen and things like that. He got this cool Rush stuff. It wasn't just the studio Rush stuff. It was like bootlegs of Neil's drum solos and all this stuff. So I think, though I never owned a record, it started seeping in little by little.
How can it not?
Exactly. I mean, he's just a force to be reckoned with. He's an incredible player.
Right.
And then, as of late, I was waiting to Stuart Copeland too, and other guys. These guys like Thomas Lang is an Austrian drummer who actually helped me a lot with Independence, because we don't use any tracks. With a lot of these bands, they use the backing tracks. Mm-hmm. Everything's live with us, so
nice.
I had to make a decision: do I bother trying to do the percussion along with the drums or not? And I'm like, no, I'm going to make it hard for myself. I'm going to do the percussion.
Nice.
So this guy Thomas Lang is just an incredible drummer who kind of helped pave the way for me to start to do that. And I've still only scratched the surface, though.
Bunny Carlos.
Bunny Carlos is another guy. There's a gazillion people I know I'm missing, but the Cheap Trick was another one, and Bunny Carlos for sure.
Well, and Suzanne says Tower of Power.
Tower of Power.
And Sally, too, worked at Mid-Island Plaza. She worked at Stearns, it says there.
Stearns, yep.
Okay. That's a fast hour.
Yeah.
However, before we say goodbye, we're going to do what we always do every week. We hit our guests with rapid-fire trivia questions.
I have more stuff to talk about. I'm trying to get out of this.
Well, we can do that. We can do bonus.
Miserably.
Well, we went to Hicksville, so nobody has high expectations.
That's true.
So
the bar's low. Yeah.
That's right. Billy Joel, Lorraine Bracco, John LaSpina, and Denny Diaz from the original Steely Dan. He's from Hicksville, and Frank Walker. That's pretty much what Hicksville gave the world.
Gave the world.
Gave the world. So we, as we do every week, we just hit our guests up with trivia questions. Has nothing to do with anything, nothing to do with them, the show, you, me, nothing. Just for fun. We do not tell you or the guests if they're right or wrong. We just keep on moving. We let you guys chime in with your answers. Do not Google, just chime in, and then I'll tell you the answers before we sign off. And we might throw in a question or two that our guests may know about, just to make them feel smart. So okay, Hicksville can take back Frank Walker. Eric says, "Thank you, Eric."
Wow.
Yeah, there's no boundaries with Eric. Yeah. Frank gave the world a Poon Belly. I mean, All right. So here we go. Our first question for John LaSpina: what animal is depicted on the flag of Wyoming?
Wyoming. No.
Is it a bull?
Wyoming.
Is it a what?
A bull?
It is not a bull.
A chicken.
A chicken.
A Tony Walker.
What show debuted in 1963 and became the longest-running sci-fi series?
I know this one.
Yes, you
Doctor Who?
do. Doctor Who is correct.
Attaboy.
Suzanne says, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about what, Suzanne? These questions?
Who gives a shit about Suzanne and Tony?
Anthony Guerriere says bear. That is incorrect.
I don't know that.
How many times does the word jingle appear in the first verse of Jingle Bells? Brian Fester got it right. The answer is buffalo.
I said bull. Oh, yeah,
A bull is not a buffalo.
Yeah, I know.
How many times does the word jingle appear in the first verse of Jingle Bells?
Wait.
2 is wrong, Eric. 2 is wrong.
3.
3
the
is...
first verse. Wait, that's the first line.
But that's correct.
It is 3?
It is 3.
Oh. I mean, it's easy. You just gotta sing it out. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Okay.
How do you get 2? Who said that?
Eric said 2. But then he corrected himself and said 3.
Eric, my God.
He didn't sing it all the way through.
That's
Eric,
right.
go to hell.
Hey.
I'm kidding.
How many...
Eric, I'm kidding.
How were the parents... Oh, okay. How were the parents of the siblings on the TV show Party of 5 killed? You remember that show?
Car accident.
Oh, wow. You're up on your Party of 5. This is us in Party of 5, is it?
I was gonna say shit.
Eric says...
Bizarre gardening accident.
Eric says he has fat fingers. I guess that's why he couldn't... All right. Who is credited with inventing the saxophone?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. How many stars are in the Big Dipper?
Wait. For the saxophone one,
Yeah?
is it someone with at least the last name of saxophone?
Close.
Is it like his last name Sax or something like that?
His last name is Sax.
Okay, so we got a sax.
So you just got to get the first name. Bob.
Jonathan.
Just start with
Adolph.
the A's.
Adolph Sax?
Adolph Sax?
Sachs. That's what I have here, yeah. Adolph Sachs.
Germany?
The Earl Johnny Sachs, the Earl of Sachs. All right. How many stars in the Big Dipper is the next question? How many stars in the Big Dipper?
Is it 8?
It is not 8. All right. Here's a. Eric also said it. Brian Festa says 8. Not according to what I looked up. Maybe you guys, since everybody's saying 8, I don't know if you're correct, but what I looked up had a different answer. All right. Here's one for you that I think you'll get. Does white wine get lighter or darker as it ages?
I say I only drink
Kinda
red.
like how white
You only drink red.
It's kind of like how white people age.
Lighter?
No, darker. Oh, so it's just see. I thought I was helping you out with the wine question because you said you like wine.
Red,
Yeah, Sally knew it. Dark. Eric says dark. Tom Tranka got the question right. It is 7 stars in the Big Dipper. 7. Okay. All right, I'll hit you with another wine question. The average number of grapes it takes to make a bottle of wine is...
It's not a multiple choice? You can't make
It is either 10, 1,020, or 736
To make a bottle?
to make a bottle. The average number of grapes it takes to make...
736?
736 is correct.
736 sounds like an average to me. You know, somebody actually tried to calculate it.
I know, I tried to throw you off with 1,020. In an orchestra, how many drums are in a standard set of timpani? Oh, you know how to find...
This is a Trenka question.
I thought it was a drum question. I thought I was...
It is a drum question. I just didn't
but it's just
really
not
do orchestra.
If I did rock drum, you didn't do orchestra?
Oh well, I did, but I wasn't very good at it. 3?
Eric Shevlin says 12. That is incorrect. 3 is close. 3 is close.
4.
4 is the answer. 4. What are the 3 parts of a drumstick called? I didn't even know.
The tip, the taper. Well, no, that is the tip. I should know. This is bad. The tip, the shank. Next question.
Alrighty.
It's definitely a tip. What is it?
It is the bead, the shoulder, and the shank.
The shoulder.
And we
See,
are
the-
talking about drumsticks.
I will say though, there's exactly. It sounds like pork meat
The
cuts.
tip, shaft, and the balls, according to Eric. Yep. There it is.
That's what I thought it was.
Yep. Oh, you know what? Oops. Did I miss? I think Guerriere had it right. He said shaft. He said tip. And then he said taint. All right.
See, sometimes use a taper as the. All right. I got it wrong. That's all there is to it.
All right. Last question. Last question, and it's another drum question. So let's see if you can save yourself. And I'm pretty sure you'll get this one. I'm going to read Ali's comment first. What the hell are you talking about? I tune in and John is talking about tips and shafts.
Who wrote that?
Ali did. What else would we be talking about? The last question. The bass drum is usually played on which beats in a 4/4 time signature?
Oh, 1 and 3.
Thank you, and he's redeemed himself.
Thank you.
Nice. How many colors in a Rubik's Cube? Asks Eric Shevlin. I don't even know.
On the rainbow.
Same. You're kidding me. Sally, what's the answer to the Rubik's Cube? How many colors? Sally's laughing. Ali just called us dirty old men. Is that a bad thing?
With the teenager in the room.
With a teenager in the room. 6? Is that really? Is that it? It's only 6.
What's however many sides are on there.
Let's see.
So, yeah.
Well, let's see. We got orange, pink,
It's as much size as there are in a
green,
cube.
blue.
Right.
What's that?
As much size as there are in a cube.
Oh,
You don't even
true.
need to count the colors.
You're absolutely right,
Just count
Jack.
the sides on the cube.
You're
Which is
absolutely right.
6.
So it is 6. All right, there
Who's
we
all
go.
smarter than my dad?
Well,
I'm a
that
genius.
goes without saying. And then Eric already posted 6, but Sally is still asking 4. So again, us Hicksville graduates. All right, so Friday night at 89 North, you can catch this guy right here playing with his shank and tip with Rubik's Cube. They are fantastic. They are a great, great band. Come check them out.
And then the next night.
The next night, you can come check me
yeah.
out at Governor's, doing a show, a comedic hilarious audience interactive murder mystery show at Governor's in Levittown. So we will be there. Let's see, another comment. You should bring on another Fork Lane kid, Craig Colasanti or Dennis Lynch. I'll bring on Craig Colasanti. Dennis Lynch, I don't know.
Dennis seems super busy.
He's super busy and super political, and I'm just not doing it. We're not going political here. We're going to sit and laugh. Although, maybe will bring, we mentioned John Donovan. Dennis is John's cousin.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll bring Dennis on and we'll talk about Hicksville stuff, but I'm not doing politics. Craig Colasanti, who's an actor, I can, maybe I'll bring him on. I've been bugging Craig to join my troupe, but
Where's he at?
I think
now?
he's scared.
He's on the. Was he on the island? Right?
Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's still in Hicksville, if I'm not mistaken.
Is he?
I'm probably wrong about that. And he's nuts. Who's nuts? Dennis Lynch? I don't know. All right. That's John LaSpina. That's Zach over there. Thank you, pal. That was fun.
Thank you.
That was
It's a
great.
lot of fun.
Thank you so
Thank
much. Tuesday Night with Tony. We will see you next week at 9, where we're doing our holiday show with the Fascino Brothers. It's going to be a lot of fun, and get ready to sing along with some holiday tunes. All right. Say goodbye, Zach.
Adios. Santa Te.
See you next week.